Why do teenagers do stupid things? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, and child development, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about kids doing stupid things. In this video, we're going to be talking about the stupid things. What is it that they do and why? And then we're going to talk about what you can do to help them do less stupid things. Would that be helpful? This channel is all about self-government, so I absolutely cannot leave the topic of stupid things before we talk about the skills you are going to need and some of the environments that you can create in your home so that your children will make better choices. But first, let's talk about why all those things happen in the first place. So, you know what? The teenage years are comical, really. They're funny. I mean, have you ever seen that movie, Napoleon Dynamite? Isn't that what that whole show is about? Like, how ridiculous we are, how absolute our brains are sometimes when we are in our teenage years, and how we process the world going on around us. It's just funny, really. I think that's why we'll probably never have a time where they don't make some movies about teens, and why there's so many funny books about teens and the mistakes that they make. Many times when teens make mistakes or do stupid things, it's actually because they're trying to do something good. Just like anybody, they mess up. They think, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that too. And then they don't. It doesn't work out for them. They could be even trying to help another person. But there are other reasons that they do stupid things too, and some of those reasons relate to their development. In order to go through proper development, a person has to step out of their comfort zone many, many times. The teen years offer the perfect opportunity to step out of our comfort zone and see what happens. And when a person goes through their teenage years properly, they have many opportunities to practice their bravery again and again. And when a person is working on practicing their bravery and stepping out of a comfort zone, there are going to be mishaps. Many mishaps. Sometimes they are going to make mistakes that hurt themselves, maybe even other people. Sometimes they are going to be a safety risk to others. So we do need to try to teach them about safety, but we have to be very careful that we don't discourage them from stepping out of a comfort zone, because stepping out of their comfort zone is so very important for them to properly develop. Oftentimes, teens do stupid things because they're seeking attention from other people. So this is a time in life where developmentally the young person is wondering if they matter, if they're making an impact, if people notice them, if they're popular, if they have friends, if they're just liked. They want to be accepted by their friends and peers. They want to be accepted by their parents and their family. So they're doing all kinds of things to see if they can be accepted. And usually they turn to trying to be humorous. And I know, sometimes it is a total fail. Sometimes it's downright hysterical though, and they hit the mark. And so that of course is going to then fuel more humorous attempts. So there we go. Attention seeking with humor. That is going to happen, and it is going to lead to them behaving very stupidly sometimes. There are other things that they do though to try to impress their friends, which really are disappointing. I know that. Sometimes they turn to bullying or being aggressive, pushing against roles and rules and other people. And these are the types of things that really have them coming across as mean, rude, uncaring. In reality, they probably don't want to be that way. They just want somebody to notice them and to see that they did something unique and different. That's another part about being a teen, is you want to know where you fit in, and if you can be unique enough to not fully fit in but still fit in, which is very difficult to find that perfect mix when you're in your teen years. There are just so many things that happen during that time that impact the behaviors of our teens. If you've already subscribed to this channel, then you know that I have a lot of videos on here related to teens and teen behaviors. But I want to make sure that as we're talking about doing stupid things, that we also talk about some of the skills that our teens might need to learn, and some things that parents might need to do in order to help their teens be a little bit more successful too. So let's talk about self-government. This channel is all about self-government. Self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. So that means you understand cause and effect and you understand yourself, and you are okay self-directing, self-correcting on a regular basis. Now, wouldn't it be nice if all of our children, teens, toddlers, everyone were completely self-governed? Well, yes, that's the whole goal of this whole channel and my website, which is called Teaching Self-Government too, and the podcast. It's all called Teaching Self-Government because that's my goal. But it starts with self-government for the parents, and the children do usually need some training in order to properly learn the skills of self-government. So how are we going to go about that training? Wise parents are proactive in their training, not just reactive. So reactive training is what happens after a child has done a mistake or made some stupid decision. That's when you tell them, no, that was not good, and here's why. That's the reactive training. But what if you could tell the child ahead of time, hey, this might be a situation you find yourself in. Here's how to handle it so that it goes well for you. That's the proactive training. When you can be more proactive, you will have less cause to need to do the reactive parenting. Now, even on the reactive side of things, we want to focus on being proactive. I'll talk about how to do that later, but for now, let's just focus on the upfront proactive training that needs to occur first. There are 4 basic skills that really encompass the majority of our behavioral problems. And if we can learn the steps to these 4 basic skills, that takes care of 99% of our behavioral problems. And I want you to just trust me on this. I have been teaching this all over the world. Thousands and thousands of families have put it to the test. Troubled youth facilities, schools, everyone has put it to the test with the skills and principles that they have learned here at the Teaching Self-Government channel and on my website and with my books, courses, and resources. But also, not just that, I've raised 4 children of my own. I'm a grandmother now, and seeing my children raise their children the same way. And if you know, the rule is, you know you did it right when your child wants to mimic it, when they want to copy and do the same thing. So they're starting to do with their children too. And I took in troubled youth, teens, all between the ages of 12 and 18 for many years. The BBC even made a documentary of my family. There have been other programs like BYU TV and MomView and other places that have also created movies and videos of me training other people. There's a lot of proof out there. So here are the 4 basic skills. 99% of behaviors, and I'm talking for adults and children, if we can learn these 4 basic things. They all have skill sets attached to them, so it's not as simple as it sounds, but still it's not, rocket science, okay? So number 1, following instructions. There's 5 steps to that. Number 2, accepting no answers and criticism. There's 4 steps to that. Number 3, accepting consequences. There's 6 steps to that. And number 4, disagreeing appropriately. There are 7 steps to that. When a person learns those 4 basic skills, they'll be able to communicate, solve their problems, and self-direct more readily. So a good proactive parent will teach their children how to follow instructions, accept no answers, accept consequences, and disagree appropriately. So how do these things help with doing stupid things? Well, let's talk about that. When a person does something stupid, it's because they've usually crossed over a boundary line that they shouldn't have. They didn't think something through. They didn't look far enough ahead. When we are giving ourselves instruction, we look ahead and say, what should we do in this upcoming circumstance? Then we give ourselves instruction to follow through. That means that we took a moment, we paused, and we've looked ahead. Also, if there's a line we shouldn't cross, like somebody's personal space or something like that, or some social rule of etiquette we don't want to break, then that's a no answer. And we don't cross over that line. Any boundary issue is considered a no answer. So if we know the 4 steps to accepting a no answer, we're not going to cross over that as well. And then what happens if we do make a mistake? Because let's be serious, it's going to happen. When they make mistakes, because they will, then you correct them. And hopefully you've got a good, calm way to do that. And if not, I've got some help for you at the end of this video. But you calmly correct them and prepare them to succeed better the next time. But they have to have the opportunity to earn a negative consequence, meaning they know they chose it, they earned it. They have to do it willingly. Then if they earn that negative consequence, they have to use that third skill, which is accepting consequences. They have to acknowledge, yep, I earned this. I need to follow through with it. And if they need to talk to you about something, maybe ask for help. That would be nice. Or maybe talk to you about how something went wrong and they didn't intend for it to go that way, then they need to use disagreeing appropriately so that you get the opportunity to hear them out and they see that power struggling and arguing does not work. When we pre-teach all of these skills for success, our children are going to do less wrong things. Hopefully they're still brave and step out of their comfort zones and do some crazy wild things in their childhood, because that's just part of growing up, maturing, and seeing where our limits are. But hopefully we keep them from doing things that hurt themselves or other people or are morally wrong. If your child happens to do something that's wrong, you do need to consistently correct them. That is important. And you may need to prepare if the child is doing the same mistake or the same wrong thing again and again. You may have to have a special meeting with them about it. I call that a parent counseling session. And make a plan for how you're going to solve that problem and how you will correct them and what negative consequences they'll earn. There are certain negative consequences that are better than others. I would love for you to have all of this information. So I think maybe the next video you're going to want to watch is one called The Not So Known Secret to Parenting Success. Click on the link to that video now. I'll see you there.